Job hunt and mining information video. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and in today's weekly job hunt video I am going to talk about how the buddy system works when you get to site for your on-site training, and so they use and why they use the buddy system and all that sort of stuff. I'll roll into all that later, but first I just want to flick over to Seek and type mining truck in. I like to do this at the start of these mining job hunt videos just to show people that because most people want a mining truck job on the surface driving one of the big dump trucks, but unfortunately if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, that dream is sort of gone, or it has gone in iron ore, and it's slowly going in coal because they're turning all those jobs driverless. And I just like to come over to this page straight away so you can have a look and see that the majority of these jobs are actually underground jobs that they want. There's a few surface jobs sprinkled in there, but the majority of them are underground jobs, underground truck jobs. So for these underground truck jobs, you're probably looking at about $90,000 a year starting on an even time roster, and if you're looking at one of the contracting companies like Burncut or Barminco, you're probably looking at just under $120,000 on a 2-in-1 roster. It's good money to go and drive a truck, and then you go up from there, but this is where you need to be looking for your entry-level truck driving job now, because everywhere else they're turning these jobs driverless. And if you come over to the underground training website, you can go onto the courses column and go down to mining jobs to apply for, and we load up all these jobs that we think you should be applying for from around the country. So you just click on that and it just takes you to the job, and away you go, you can apply from there. So we'll go over to the gold price now, and that's where there's a lot of movement, and it's right back up there again. So it's over $4,500 Australian for an ounce of gold. That's why there's the demand for people in the gold mining industry, and copper is over $15,000 a tonne now. Whereas if we move over to coal, unfortunately that's down the $100 mark for US a tonne. So that's getting down into that area where nobody wants it to be, unfortunately. And iron ore, as we talked about all the time, it's going to bounce between 80 and 120, so it's in that range at the moment. But the problem with iron ore is that there's no good paying jobs anymore. The job in iron ore is now a town job for probably $75,000 to $90,000 a year on a week on week off roster, but that's where you're going to tap out. You're not going to go much higher than that, whereas if you go to on-site to underground, you can go all the way through to a jumbo, and jumbos get paid $300,000 a year plus. So if we come over and have a look at our map of Australia with all our jobs on it, these are all our gold and copper mines that actually need people at the moment. I'm going to just briefly talk about why they use the buddy system. So normally when you get to site, if you're brand new, we'll work off that you're here in Perth and you're going out to one of these sites out here. So if you're brand new, you'll probably spend a week to 2 weeks in their head office, and they'll put you through a whole heap of inductions, and they'll put you in a simulator, and they'll take you to a room that looks like underground and all that sort of wonderful stuff. And then they'll send you out onto site where you'll do a few more on-site inductions, and you'll do some equipment tickets and all that sort of stuff with safety and training. You'll do a whole heap of paperwork. But safety and training won't actually train you. That because they're so busy with so many people going here and there, because we're in the middle of this great big boom in copper and gold, safety and training get pinned down in the office doing paperwork, so they get buddies to train people. So these people are normally supposed to be experienced truck drivers, but like anything else in life, when push comes to shove and people get really busy, you get what you're given, and often that person can be somebody that's only just been trained themselves, or they can be a poor communicator, or for whatever reason you can get a buddy that's not going to treat you very well. And that's one of the reasons why we wrote the training back in the day. We just, as supervisors, got sick of watching people fail because they didn't get a good buddy. And it's not a matter of people not trying, and it's just sometimes it's just personality clashes, but it just is what it is. And so the easiest way around the solution is to actually learn how it all works before you go, and that's what you can do with the training. So I've just logged into my mining coach account, and I'm just going to go down to the basic mine site operation and click on that course. And that takes us through to the start of the page, and I can just expand it. Because I've looked at it all and opened it all up, I can jump into any page that I want, and I just want to jump into the ground support page. and it just runs through how it all works. And the reason I'm coming down to this page is I'm not going to show the video, but the video goes for 1 minute and 28 seconds, and it shows a guy putting a bolt on the end of a jumbo boom, and that is the primary job of a nipper, and it's only going to take 1.5 minutes to show you how to do that. All right, so that gives you an idea of how quick it takes you to show the practical side of the job. But to give that same person that responsibility, to give them a ute to drive around, to pick up all the bolts and mesh and drag it where you've got it to go, and to do all that with knowing what's going on and without hurting yourself and without hurting anybody else, that's what you need the buddy for. And the longer you need the buddy in there with you, making sure you're doing the right thing, the more they ramp the pressure up and the more people they go through. And the buddies get pressure on them as well. Why isn't this person passed out? Because normally the other thing that they don't tell you with the buddies is that these aren't just people that are just there to train people. These are people there that have probably got a truck parked up somewhere that they should be driving. Or worse, they should be on service crew or learning some other job that's above them. And a lot of people put in that situation feel like training you was a waste of their time, and they're missing out on opportunity because they're stuck there training you. There's all those sort of dynamics can go on when you use the buddy system and you're just thrown in the deep end, like they have to. The employers have got no choice. You can't have an unlimited amount of safety in training people, and at the moment when it goes nuts like this, all the sites have got 3 or 4 people on the go at any one time, if not more. So when it's not booming and it's just a stable price and they don't turn too many people over, safety and training will bring a person on, they'll do all the inductions, and then they'll go and sit in the truck with them for 2 weeks. But they can do that because they've got the time to do that. But when everything's booming and you've got new jumbo operators coming in and bogger operators and charge up, and people are being promoted all the time and they've got to be passed out on the next levels above and all that sort of stuff, there's a shitload of paperwork that's got to be done that safety and training just have to do. And so that's why everything gets pushed back to this buddy system. And the problem with the buddy system is you're only as good as the buddy that you get. And that's one of the reasons why, again, I say we wrote the training, so it goes into everything that the buddy should be showing you down the hole, as well as how it all works. So if we come all the way back to our main page, our desktop, and we go to Nipper and other important duties, I'll just give you an example of that. So we go down here. So that's the whole Nipper's job. So you can run through that and know that walking through the door. This is watering down, headings and stopes, which is a really big part of nippering and service crew and all that sort of stuff. This is all the general mining information that your buddy should be showing you down the hole. It's the whole job. And it's the same with the truck course as well. So if you go over to the courses, so come over to the truck, and it's the whole job from top to bottom. And it's everything that the buddy should be showing you down the hole, as well as what you should be showing upstairs. And the whole idea behind this is that if you do get somebody that's not very good, or they're not a good communicator, you can just jump straight in with them and go, because you've got that knowledge, that information, where you can marry up with what they're telling you. And what ends up happening is within 3 days they become your first best friend, because you're making them look good. You get passed out, they go back with it to their job with a pat on the back, and there's not a lot of stress involved with it. But if you're relying on them to teach you, which you are if you go in there not knowing anything, and I have a lot of people coming at me lately telling me that they've got the job and they don't feel that any more training's necessary because they'll be trained on site. I just don't think that they understand what system that they're getting themselves into. And this is the system that they've got, this is the system that they have to use, this is the system that they use. And you can argue the merits and the pros and cons all you want, but the system's the system. And the easiest way to survive is to learn it and know it and understand it, and that's what all the training's all about. So there's heaps of jobs all over the country. You just have to type underground into Seek, and you'll see all the Nipper jobs come up, and the underground truck and the driller's assistants. And shout out to Charles that just got himself a job as a driller's offsider up in Kalgoorlie. He left me a nice message on our YouTube channel, so thanks for that, Charles. But yeah, there's work all over the country. But again, it's about showing the employers that you know what you're getting yourself into, that you know what the expectations are going to be, how it all works. Yeah, it's the easiest way to get your foot in the door, because it changes the goalposts for them. Because when you can talk to them about what's happening on site and what the expectations are, it puts you 6 to 8 weeks ahead of everybody else that are looking for these jobs. And as you can see, like, the majority of these jobs are entry level. Some of them say entry level nipper, but like, seriously, they'll want an experienced nipper for this. But anybody that's got 6 to 12 months nippering experience, they're not looking for another nippering job. They're looking for a service crew job. And anybody that's got a couple of years service crew experience, they're not looking for another service crew job. They're looking for a charge up job. And as you look through the pages, you'll see the charge up jobs pop up, and the bogger jobs pop up, and the jumbo jobs, and the shift boss jobs. There's just an endless amount of jobs at the moment because everybody is trying to ramp up their gold and copper mines all around the country. And the reason is because of the high gold price. It's, $4,500 an ounce, which is just ridiculous. I can remember mining it on site in 1998, and it was $280 an ounce. So that gives you some idea of where it was then to where it is now. And at this price, it's a huge boom. So it's where your jobs are. It's where you should be targeting if you want a mining job these days, and especially if you want a long-term career. There's work all over the country, and you can take you overseas with it as well. If you have a look through some of those jobs, you'll see Barminco's US job that's come up, and there's a whole heap of Burncut overseas jobs as well that you can have a look at there. And even McMahon's is looking for people in Indonesia at the moment. So yeah, there's jobs all over the world if you can show them. Yeah, once you get that experience up, it'll give you the opportunity to travel and make a huge career out of it. So if you're trying to get into the industry, I hope you got something out of this job hunt video today. That's the system that they use, and unfortunately the system that they use for employing people in the buddy system, it turns a lot of people over. So it's an unfortunate thing. But anyway, so I hope that information helps, and if you could share this video around and like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.